Hey everyone, ready to go inward today. We're going deep on something unexpected.
Yeah, this is interesting. We're talking about how true spirituality might not be about, like, physical spaces. You know what I mean?
It's funny, right? You think spirituality, you picture temples, those huge churches.
Grand places, yeah. But the stuff you shared, it's like, look deeper. It's about what's inside us instead.
Exactly. And that's the heart of it. We're looking at Kirpal Singh's writings today.
Oh, and some powerful images too, right?
Right. And one thing's clear, this isn't about hopping on a plane to find enlightenment at some mystical,
Yeah, it's not some mystical vacation. It's personal, this stuff.
way more personal.
And you know what? It's relatable too. This idea of change, real transformation happening within. It's in a lot of traditions.
Totally. So how do these teachings approach this? I mean, one excerpt starts right off with that parable of the sower.
Yeah.
Seed, different soils. Classic story.
Classic for a reason, right? Think about it. The seeds, they're like spiritual teachings, right?
Huh.
Being planted.
I like that. Okay, so the teachings are the seeds.
But the ground they land on, that's you. Your inner world. You open. Ready. Or are you, like, closed off, distracted?
So are you the good soil or?
Exactly. And here's what's cool. The parable, it's saying, doesn't matter, cathedral or your bedroom, real understanding, it comes down to you. Inside.
It's like realizing we can grow spiritually no matter where we are, what's around us. We all have that potential, right?
It's in you. It's about owning that potential. It reminds me of that line, hang on. Sollte ein Schülernamen anerkannt haben, aber während seines physischen Lebens nicht genug meditiert auf den, weil ihn die Welt in Anspruch genommen hat, dann meditiert er später auf den inneren Ebenen unter der Aufsicht des Satgurus, um letztendlich nach Hause zu kommen. Er sitzt Nachtern. Basically, this journey, it's personal, deep down, and we've got the potential. Always.
Like building a house, you can have that fancy front.
Oh yeah, put on a good show.
But if the base is shaky,
The foundation, man. The whole thing's going down.
crumbles. And that's what's interesting. These teachings, they compare our bodies to temples.
Exactly, and Kirpal Singh nails it. Der menschliche Körper ist der Tempel Gottes. Er ist die wirkliche Kirche, die Synagoge und die Moschee von Gott geschaffen. Und wie schade, wir versuchen ihn in von Menschen gebauten Häusern zu suchen. Basically, the real sacred space, it's us. We are it.
So we shouldn't get hung up on how these places look. Focus on the inside, our own temple. That's the foundation, right?
It's like tending to that inner garden. That's your spiritual life right there.
And it's not just him saying this. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Even the Bible, Corinthians, it's like, know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you?
If any man defile the temple of God, him shall God destroy. For the temple of God is holy, which temple ye are. Powerful stuff.
Okay, so get this. They use the Kaaba to make this point, Islam's holiest site. And there's this quote, Sheikh Sadi, he says, Nichts weiter als Bruchstein ist die Kaaba von Kali. Die Kaaba des menschlichen Herzens hält Gott einen Sitz bereit. Right. And he goes on. Von allen Pilgerfahrten ist die zum menschlichen Herzen die wahre. So gibt den Vorrang besser ihm als den zahllosen Mekkas. I mean, talk about making a point.
It's not saying those places don't matter to people, to their faith, not at all. It's saying that real connection, changing yourself, it takes inner work.
You can go to those places, sure, and it can be powerful.
But it's the work you do inside, building that inner world, that's what lasts.
And it's not just about us alone, right? There's that story, Kirpal Singh, he's talking to a student designing a new center. The student's all about these fancy plans, buildings, everything.
Going all out.
And Singh stops him, asks, why all this? We're here to meditate, aren't we? Makes you think, what are we doing it for?
It really makes you think, is it about the outside, how impressive it is, or creating a space where people can look inward, connect?
Right. It's not about the fanciest room. It's what happens in there, inside you, building that inner sanctuary. That's the point.
It's like that seed and soil thing again, right? The seed needs the right place to grow.
To really take root.
Yeah, exactly. The building, it's just the container,
Yeah.
The real stuff, the change, it's happening inside people, in their minds, their hearts.
Okay, so we've talked about how this works for us personally and even in groups. But the material takes it a step further with this whole Kirpal Sagar within ourselves. Can you break that down?
This is where things get really interesting. We think of Kirpal Sagar, the place, right? The center.
Right, a physical spot.
Exactly. But these writings are like, think again. Kirpal Singh, he tells his student, Wenn du dir ein Haus in dieser Welt baust, wird es vergänglich sein. Du wirst es zurücklassen müssen. Wenn du jedoch mein Haus, das innere Kirpal Sagar baust, wird es für immer bei dir sein.
Build it inside. That's powerful. So it's not about ditching the outside world. It's more like, what's the priority?
It's seeing that real change that lasts, it comes from within. You build that foundation first.
Instead of just chasing outward stuff.
Yeah, like those inner qualities, love, compassion, that's the foundation of real spirituality, right? And that's what lasts.
That's the good stuff. And this inner Kirpal Sagar, this growth, it's not just about us feeling peaceful, is it? It affects how we deal with everything else too, right?
Oh, absolutely. It changes everything, how you act, how you treat people, the whole deal. It's like the material is saying, hey, focus too much on rituals and buildings, you might miss the point.
Get distracted from the real work.
Exactly. The inner stuff, it's hard, but that's where you find that connection, that meaning.
So it's about more than just going through the motions. It's about going deeper, right? Connecting to something bigger. That's the core of spirituality.
Right on. And from that place, that inner strength, that's where your actions come from. They reflect it. They're not a replacement for it.
It's like we can get so caught up, even in religions, with doing, that we forget about just being.
It's easy to do, right?
Yeah.
We check the boxes, but are we tending to what's inside?
Are we doing the real work?
Exactly.
We can be so busy building the outside, we forget to furnish the inside.
That's a good one. Makes you think, what if we started there? What if we focused on those qualities, that connection to something bigger?
It changes how you see spirituality, that's for sure. And what I'm getting is, it's not about ditching traditions completely. It's about, like, understanding their place.
Knowing where they fit in.
Yeah. It's about making sure they don't overshadow the inner stuff.
Because that's the important stuff.
It's like, imagine going on a pilgrimage, right? You could see all the sights, but if you're not feeling it, not using it to reflect, to grow,
yeah.
What's the point?
Then it's just sightseeing.
Yeah, exactly. But you can be home, meditating, connecting with that inner space.
That's where the magic is.
That's where it happens.
That's you building your Kirpal Sagar brick by brick, all that unseen work, awareness, compassion, connection.
This deep dive has been amazing, really making me rethink how I see spirituality, how much I'm focused on the outside stuff versus what's going on inside you.
Totally. It's a good reminder that journey inward, it never really ends, you know?
There's always more.
Always something new to discover, to work on. That's what makes it so, I don't know, amazing.
And anyone can do it, no matter where you are in life, what you believe.
It really makes you think, you know? What does it even mean to build that space inside you, that Kirpal Sagar?
It's almost like we need to change how we see success on this path, you know? Spiritual success. It's not about doing all the things, checking off the list.
Right. It's not a checklist.
It's deeper. It's about how much you've changed on the inside.
It's like, whoa, okay, big shift, right? Makes you really responsible for yourself.
No kidding. But it's also kind of, I don't know, freeing. You don't need to go to some special place or be part of some group to get this, to build that Kirpal Sagar within. It's right here. You can start right now.
Exactly. And that reminds me, Kirpal Singh, he talks about how nothing lasts forever. Those buildings, temples, they crumble eventually, right?
Everything fades.
But what you build inside, that's got staying power.
So where do we even begin? What are the building blocks for this inner Kirpal Sagar?
Well, they talk a lot about meditation. That's key. Quieting your mind, you know, finding that deeper part of yourself.
It's like we were saying, creating that inner sanctuary.
Yeah.
Peace and quiet in the middle of all the craziness.
Yeah, find that stillness.
And from there, we can start growing those other qualities. Love, compassion, wisdom. That's the real foundation, right?
And it doesn't stay bottled up either. It comes out, affects how you treat people, how you handle things.
So it's not about becoming some lone wolf hiding away. It's about bringing those inner changes out into the world.
Yeah, bridging the gap, inside and outside. And that takes time, a lifetime, really.
It's a journey.
But those little steps, making that shift within, it makes a difference, believe me.
This has been awesome. Really got me thinking differently about, my own spirituality. Less about the show, more about the substance.
For real.
And maybe that's the biggest takeaway for everyone. This journey inward, it doesn't end.
There's always something more. Always more to learn, to become.
And that's what makes it so amazing,
It really is.
So as you go about your day, think about that. Building your Kirpal Sagar. That place inside of peace, wisdom, connection. And remember, it all starts with that first step. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, everyone. We'll see you next time.